This is Diesel for We the People News. Now, I did a video of my opinion. So this one is going to be a high impact or Grease Monkey video. Okay? And it's going to be his opinion. Alright? We're pretty much on the same page. I explain it different than he does. He's more clearly spoken than I am. But he still brings up interesting thoughts on this. So there's two sides of this story, right? We're going to still go with inalienable rights, y'all. No man can tell another man what to do, whether they're government or not, unless they commit harm upon another. And this is what we've forgotten. As men and women standing up and say, hey, you guys are out of control. And it's time for every single one of you guys to get fired. Alright.
About some things here.
I'm not an attorney, so anything that has to do with law, you guys get your attorney. Don't listen to me, I'm an idiot. Alright. I don't never look straight forward, always look around. Like what this guy has to say. Do I 100% agree with him every single time? No. But I do love his point of views, and I'm willing to listen to both sides because I never look straight forward. I always look around me and what is for my best interest and how can I be able to protect myself by any means necessary.
Does protesting work? Does it achieve the goal that is set by the protesters? Because what I've always thought was, yeah, you can go out in this, you're of course free to go out in the street and raise a fuss and complain about whatever you want to, but are politicians really listening to you? Are the billionaires that bankroll the politicians really listening to you? Are the banksters who pull the strings of the politicians, do they really care that 1 million, 2 million, 10 million people flood the streets?
No, they're not listening. They're laughing at us because we do not gang up as one. All government officials, they gang up in one. Alright? That's how they win, and that's how there's so little people control such a massive people. Remember, y'all, history is a very good teacher. But we have some people out there who want to get rid of history so we can fall backwards again. And over history, we always fall backwards.
And, Occupy Wall Street, do they really care? Does it really affect change? Or does it just lengthen your chains? I don't know if it affects change, man. I don't really see it. What really is going to matter is if when a politician makes an edict, you disobey it. Or you just don't pay any attention to it. Act as though they don't have any power because they don't. If you give them the attention that they want, that they crave, that they think they deserve, these political parasites get everything that they want. And I think if we have mass non-compliance, that is what works. Historically speaking, mass non-compliance is exactly what works. And I'm not calling for any kind of violent uprising. I'm just talking about we'll see a demonstration of this. I'll show you the perfect demonstration of mass non-compliance. If the bully on the playground can't get a rise out of anybody, can't sucker somebody into starting a fight with them, and has to sit alone in a corner, yeah. There comes a point at which the bully gets in your face, starts pushing you, taking your lunch money, tripping your friends, doing bad things to you. There comes a point at which you have to employ the guard with jealous attention, the public liberty. Suspect everyone who comes near that precious jewel. Nothing will preserve it but downright force. Yeah, there comes a point at which that force is absolutely necessary. It's vital because you could die. You know, you don't want the bully to keep punching you in there. Yeah, go ahead and punch me. Go ahead and punch me. Mass non-compliance. I'm not going to comply. I'm not going to comply. I'm going to pretend like you're not here. Where there comes a point where you can't pretend that he's not there because you have blood dripping down your face and your nose is on the other side of your, where it's supposed to be. So I'm not saying be, a wallflower. And there does come a time where you have to meet force with force. And that's unfortunate.
I just want to add to this. Any man or woman that's trying to demand for you to do something, then they are technically bullies.
Because we do just want to be left alone. It's like that video that I did the other day where somebody posted something on Twitter that just completely resonated with me. You want to see some unholy violence? Keep messing with the men who don't want to be messed with. They just want to be left alone, but you pushed them too far, didn't you? You backed them too far in that corner. You took away too many of their freedoms too soon, didn't you? You just had to keep on poking the bear, and now they're going to come after you. And they don't care what they lose because they know once they make that decision to start coming after the tyrants who are coming after them. And by the way, it's such an unfair, brutal, unjust system. Because it's stacked against you. The tyrants will actually convince all the lemmings and the bootlickers that you, who are just trying to defend yourself and safeguard your way of life, they'll try to convince the masses that you are the enemy, that you are the problem, that you are the evil one, that you're the one that needs to be eradicated. And all you're doing is just trying to defend yourself. It's like, dude, I'm not going to give you another pound of flesh. It ain't going to happen. I don't have it. And first of all, I don't have it. And the second of all, it's not right. It's not right for anybody to do that to anybody. So does protesting work? Leave your comments. If you think protesting works, let me know and be specific. How does it work? Matter of fact, you know what? Let me show you that since we're talking about this. Here's an example of mass non-compliance. Apparently, this is Alberta, Canada, where restaurants are demanding to see you-know-what before they will serve anyone. So Canadians are bringing their own food and eating it outside the empty restaurants. Only one winner in this game. And this is unfortunate, too, because these businesses who decided to go ahead and placate and lay down and roll over for the oligarchs and for the tyrants so that they demand these VXX passports, the passports to freedom, they're basically going to wreck the economy and go out of business.
I just want to add to that. Any business is going to uphold my rights. They're getting my money.
Look at all these people just sitting around.
This is our protest because all the businesses in Alberta have denied access to unvaccinated people. So we have taken it to the streets and have created our own picnics. You have empty patios and busy streets.
I like that. And these businesses deserve no business. We have empty patios and busy streets. There you go. And the thing about mass non-compliance, when we're all on the same page, guys, the platform, the springboard from which you accelerate and jump into the air is freedom. It's liberty. You're actually taking the moral high ground. There is nothing that will invigorate and incentivize a people than knowing, not believing. These people don't have to believe that they're doing the right thing. They can know that they're doing the right thing. So by their actions and by withholding their money from these businesses, hey, we're not participating. Oh, did you want to play that game? Are you sure? Are you restaurant owners sure you want to play that game? You're going to tell me that I'm not going to be eating in your restaurant unless I produce a VXX passport? Okay. You're not getting my dollars then, because I'm not participating.
And I had to go and say, great respect for these people doing it, because American peoples are not doing it. We want to be enslaved. We want to be able to have our privileges and not our rights. We love our privileges. That way we don't have to fight for our rights.
participating in this. Oh, and I'm sorry that you felt like you had to bow down to the altar of Jabbo. Things might not go real well with you in the next couple months. So this right here, if we get, what I was going to say was, if we all get on the same page and we all do this together, knowing that we're doing the right thing, they don't have the manpower, they don't have the resources to unleash on these people to bring them to justice.
Oh, I agree with him on that. That's what I talked about earlier, right? Protest will only work if there's a lot of people doing it. We got to become one instead of divide. The government is laughing their asses off at y'all. And me. Alright? They're just standing in their little office just going, oh, them silly people. There's only 10 people out there. That's not going to do much. Meanwhile, cars would drive by and honk at them and say, hey, awesome job. But they won't stop the car and help them out. They just keep driving by. And you wonder why Americans are where it's at today.
If you're in Calgary, come down to Stephen Avenue right now. Bring a blanket and a picnic basket and some friends.
Look at this. This is it right here. This is how you utilize social media. I don't see one ritualistic shame muzzle yet. I am telling you, there are way more of us than there are of them. So living life and ignoring their edicts pisses them off and actually brings about more change than just marching in the streets begging your oppressors to make sure that...
I would step further ahead. When you do a really good protest, don't even have a picnic with your own food. If you find a business that's not complying, like that one in New York, they're saying, hey, we're not complying with this. Take it to go. And go to some of these other restaurants. Find a place to do it. All you guys bombard in there. Order your food from there. And then you find a particular street that's got a bunch of business. You get on that sidewalk and you eat the other person's food that you are supporting in front of that business. Let them know that you didn't mind eating out. But this other business has got my money because of you.
They beat you with fewer stripes. And please, masters, give us a little bit more freedom. Please stop taking so much money from our income. So, no, we're not playing that game. Ain't gonna do it. Not gonna happen. People seem happy, cordial. They're eating, conversing.
Speaking of conversing, y'all, all these people doing this is visiting one another that they would have never done before. They would have been in separate places eating. Some of them made a special trip out to, instead of eating at the house, went to the business out there, and everybody's talking to one another. Everybody's on the same page. Unlike the United States people, we can't even get together for 10 minutes on a corner of the street of a protest. I don't know.
that's how you do it. That's how you do it. And that brings us back to this. Protesting is not an act of freedom. You know, if you think it is, correct me if I'm wrong. In one sense, it is an act of freedom because you're free to go ahead and do it. But what does it secure for you? It's an appeal to authority, because why are you, that's one thing that I hate about the Constitution, is that there's a constant appeal to authority. Consent of the governed? What is that? What does it mean to be governed? It means to be enslaved, to be bossed around, to control.
Now, be fair and honest, he may got that a little backwards, and he may misspoke. Because I really firmly believe he don't believe this. I think he misspoke on this, okay? But if he believes that's the way it is, then he's inaccurate, okay? The scent of the governed is we the people. We are a consent of the governed. The government has got to ask us for permission to do whatever they're going to do, right? Like in my other videos, again. They're supposed to be begging us. But we've gotten such in habit of everybody calling these other people authorities when they have zero authority. Especially when you have not committed harm. But because over the years, my parents, my grandparents has let things slide so often, I am part of the solution today to hopefully get my kids to have more freedom, because I'm going to be gone a lot sooner than them if the Creator lets it be. But I believe he got that backwards, and I don't believe, I just believe that he misspoke, okay? The governed is we the people. We are their bosses. And we slacked on our jobs of being their bosses. We let them get way too much authority. And now our employees is running amok and think they have all this power that they don't have.
Consent of the controlled? How can the controlled consent to anything? And if the controlled knew they were being controlled, would they be consenting to a curtailment of their freedom and a theft of their income? I don't think so. No, not if they're rational, not if they're honest with their own hearts. It's an appeal to authority. You aren't fighting for your rights. You're slaves begging for longer chains. When in the history of mankind has it been to the benefit of the submissive to comply with the tyrants? Think of a time in history where the people forcing other people into compliance, violating their will, transgressing their rights. When were they ever the good guys? There's no time in history where the people forcing others into compliance were the good guys. No time. And yet, who's forcing who into compliance? See, the people who want to be left alone, generally speaking, observably, objectively, those are the good guys. The people trying to force everybody to do the same thing because we think it's good for you have always been the bad guys. And they will always come under the veil of, hey, this is just to keep you safe. This is to safeguard public health. Why are you looking at us like we're...
And by threat of violence. It's always been by the threat of violence. How do you think the government of 5 million people can control 300,000 million? Think about it. It's always the threat of violence of what they can do. You know, these businesses, for instance, if they actually did a protest and did not pay their taxes, they don't have enough people to arrest everybody. And if they do go arrest a couple of them, by gosh, we're not giving you no more money. Again, you know, it's not a one-time thing, y'all. It's an everyday battle. The war is never going to be completed, so don't worry about the war. We have to win battles. And that's exactly what it is. In order to stay free, you got to fight every day to be free. If not, well, you know where we're at today.
The bad guys, the only way we're forcing you to do these things against your will, the only reason we're doing that, it's not because we're profiting, it's because we care about you. If in 2021 you can actually look yourself in the mirror and you can be honest with yourself and go, the politicians care about me. Government cares about me. The authorities really, they want my best. They have my best interest at heart. If you're thinking that, you are delusional. You are completely out to lunch. You're not living in the world of reality. You're lying to yourself. Hey guys, we know with the way things have been going, it can get really interesting.
Anyway, there's another opinion, but it's along the same lines, and he's more clearly spoken than I am. So this may be more of a benefit for y'all. And don't forget to subscribe to him. It's Grease Monkey Video and High Impact. He's got great content. I don't believe in everything he says, but a lot I do. And if nothing else, it's something for us to learn and open our eyes on other things. Again, I don't look straight forward. I look around me to be able to better protect myself by any means necessary. That means if I have to learn from somebody else, I will. If they thought about something I didn't think about, I will. I was talking to my brother today. And I may or may not do it. But if I ever go back to court again, or if the officer pulls me over and asks where I reside at, where's my residence, where do I live, my answer is always going to be Earth. And it's not more along the lines of really so much of an argument thing. It's really just to stand on my ground on you're not defining everything that needs to be defined, right? Because regardless where I live, I still live on Earth. That is my residence. Oh, you guys are talking about a zip code. Okay, well my zip code is Earth. Well, you talking about Abilene, Texas? Nope, I'm talking about Earth. I live on Earth. I cannot live. Guess what? If I go to China, well, did I ever leave my residence? No, I did not. And by the way, I'm using residence as for y'all. That's a totally different definition, and some of y'all don't understand what residence means. I'm just making this simple. But my residence is Earth. If I go to China, guess what? My residence is Earth. If I go to an earthquake, guess what? My residence is Earth. I never left. Alright, this will be the People News. Bye, y'all.